We bring Dudley Dawson on from Hogville.net. And Dudley, I was thinking to myself, it sounds like Sam Pittman doesn't trust who's covering the team to hold on to some. Not like he's got to trust them to hold on to some things, but I wonder what you gleaned from that. If it's a matter of this is a more important season than any other season, what do you think?
Well, I think a couple of things came to mind when I heard him say that. I knew it was coming because they'd kind of, prepared us for it. I'm a journalist, and I always want to be on a scene and be able to get everything I can. I mean, that's just the way I work, and it's been important over the course of 43 years, I guess now I've been up here, that we have been a conduit to the fans. There are a lot of different things that go into it now. They basically have their own news service or sports service over there with the Hogs Plus now, so that factors into some things.
You can call it propaganda if you want. It's okay.
Yeah. Do get the fact that he ascertains how big a year it's for, and there's nobody who disagrees with that. I think the 20 minutes in the fastball stuff that they did, would have been good enough, but I get it, but you hate to see it because that's the next step down the line to nothing.
Right, and that's the thing. So I think some people frame this in a way that the media is all upset that they don't get access to this and that, and I don't really view it that way because it's exactly what you said. Media is a go-between between the subject that's being covered and those who are interested in that subject. So, does this hurt the fan in any way for information, or is it just a matter of you guys got to find another way to get the information?
Hey, well, I think that, fans, when they are happy and a team is winning, they are usually happy with the media. My now 33-year-old son always knew that when Arkansas lost a football game or a basketball game and we would go out to eat when they were young, that people would come up and somehow it would be the media's fault. So it's again, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. We want to do our job the best that we can, and especially the guys who are there every day, really embedded, so to speak, with the team. You hate it, but as Coach Pittman acknowledged there, we always have people who, if you've been done things fair over the years and you know who you can talk to and what you can glean from them and what you can get out of there. I think most of this has to do with injuries and stuff.
Hey, Dudley, with this first game on Thursday, what are we trying to use the word of the day, what are we trying to glean from this UAPB game? What's something on the offensive side and something on the defensive side of the ball that you want to see or that you hope the Hogs accomplish in this first game?
Well, you being a quarterback, you know that how important that offensive line was last year. It wasn't last year, and there were some talented guys on that offensive line, but it didn't mesh. I'm looking to see if this new combination will mesh. I'm excited to see what Marion Harris, who has always had the potential there, is going to be able to bring to the offensive line, the cohesiveness. Because again, growing up in Newport and playing for Bill Keedy, we ran the ball and stop the run, and that was the thing. And that didn't happen last year here well enough, and you're going to have to be able to do that. So that's the biggest thing I'm looking to get from the offense. And the defense, man, they lost a lot of linebackers, brought a lot in here. So I'm anxious to see how that plays because great linebackers, or at least linebackers who make plays, help the front and help the back.
Last year in the opener against Western Carolina, you'd look at the final score and be like, well, they did what they needed to do with them, 56-13. But they averaged under 3 yards a carry, and it wasn't because of sacks. That was the first hint during the season, because we got hints in the off season from people that did watch spring ball and did watch practice that the offensive line was going to be a problem. I want to make sure that this team can run the ball against an FCS team. I don't want even to say that in an insulting way, because they didn't run it with success against an FCS team last year, and then he couldn't run it against anybody.
Yeah, and little did we know that they all hated each other over there. How things were going to turn out. Hate's maybe a bad word, but they were not pleased with the NIL and each other and who was getting what and all that. The coaching staff and players were at it. As the season went along, we knew about that. it does appear at least that's probably not going to be a problem this year. So that, that helps you step up in the first game or not. But you're right. I mean, I have all the respect in the world for Coach Hampton. The lineage that he comes from and the fact that he's taken on, a consequential, a monumental job here at UAPB, 2-9 last year, had a good win there at the end of the season that, kind of spurred him in the offseason. But man, if you don't go out and just look fantastic, then we know that if you're these betting services that big money is going to be on Oklahoma State for sure the next week, because they have got to show that they're more cohesive, that the execution's there. And let's be honest about one thing. Bobby Petrino is the offensive coordinator, but he's always run a tight ship on there on the field. And I'm anxious to see more of that than what I saw last year when it was just, I keep using the word cluster. So.
Hey, I'm Dudley. I'm interested to see the 28-year-old freshman, and then also are there any other newcomers, or what about that freshman running back? If Dobinion's going to be down, is he going to get to play? Is there a newcomer or freshman that you're excited to see Thursday?
I think so. It's maybe not be the most out there choice, but Taylor Green. Let's see what he can do. I've watched a lot of tape, or I guess video, I should say now, on him from Boise State. There was a lot of potential there. He had plays where he was fantastic. He had others where he was, looked like he was lost a little bit on his reads and what he was going on. But, he's got a great quarterback coach there. So I'm really anxious to see where that is, because this is the first time in a long time that KJ Jefferson hadn't been under center, or somebody who was a wide receiver moving the quarterback, or vice versa, is under center. So I'm kind of anxious to see what they've got there at that, because let's be honest again, they've got some decent guys behind him, but Taylor Green has to have a good year for this football program to have a decent year.
Do you view Green as a 2-year project? I'm not making any predictions he's going to win the Heisman Trophy next year. But just looking at the last two really successful, like LSU quarterbacks, Joe Burrow had like a good year his first year before turning into a world-beating Heisman winner the second season. It was the same with Jaden Daniels last year. They had things to work on. Daniels obviously did. The more I think about Taylor Green and his athletic abilities, I feel like this is still a project. Now, nobody's going to be a finished product in college, but it does feel like this is kind of a 2-year project to me.
I totally agree, and that's why I throw out the word potential, which is either a great word or a bad word, depending on whether you realized it or not. Again, I see things, and then when I first saw his video, I thought raw. When he got here in spring, I saw some good things. So he made a step forward, and I'm anxious to see how a quarterback coach that is in line with him, that this is the guy he wanted, how he will improve. I was utter shock when I heard that there were 8 interceptions in one scrimmage, but it turns out that there were only a couple of them were his and one was tipped. But we all know how important quarterbacks are and how in running an offense. There's a lot of different guys over there. There are going to be 89 different players that weren't on the UAPB and Arkansas team last year. How are we supposed to predict how that's all going to play out when you get 89 new guys?
Well, they did a great job predicting that Florida State-Georgia Tech game. They went out there, and I think all the pundits had FSU by a lot, and you saw the madness that is college football. Dudley, looking around the SEC with, A&M in Notre Dame, LSU and Southern Cal, Florida, Miami, what's the chances that, the SEC can go 3-0 in those games? Are there one of those games you're looking forward to?
Oh, I'm looking forward to all three of them. But I really, the LSU game I think is going to be a toss up there that sways it one way or the other. But let's be, that the narrative after this weekend, if they go 3-0, is the SEC is it. The SEC is it. If they don't go 3-0, all the other conferences and the football fans and the narrative around the country is going to be Yeah, the SEC isn't going to be that good this year. They had 16 teams, but, a bunch of them aren't any good. So,
my expectation is we don't know what to expect, more so than in any season in college football history. This used to be a very formulaic sport. Chalky, I think, is how we call it. And I'm not saying that, Georgia doesn't deserve to be number one. And, Texas, I think they've got an opportunity to do something special this year, their first year in the SEC. But
could they be back?
But Dudley, our whole point for how we go about our predictions is to look at what happened last year and then project forward based on who's not there any longer and who you got. And, football's a funny sport in terms of chemistry, maybe more so than a lot of the other sports, just trying to fit 22 guys on the field to work together. I just feel like this year I don't know if I'd say it's a one-off because it'll feel the same as long as the portal is open the way that it is. I don't think anybody knows what to expect. And those who tell you they do, I think they're really just guessing.
Yeah, and I give credit to people who are jumping out there and making their picks and saying what they think the prediction record's going to be. If I were to make one, I'd say, please allow me to come back in a couple of weeks after I watch these first two games and tell you what I think. Because, again, it's free agency in college athletics now. It's you could, as you mentioned, the chemistry is a deal. And then another thing is, situations, game plans, where you're playing at is all going to factor in there. We all know how bad Arkansas was last year overall, 4-8. And then you look back and somebody will tell you, well, but they had, 5 games where it was a touchdown or less. Well, they still lost. You got to win. And can these guys under Coach Pittman, Coach Petrino, and the rest of the staff, can they find ways to win early instead of finding ways to lose as they did last year?
Dudley, let's leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on. It's always fun talking with you. Thank you very much for your time today.
Anytime, man.
Thanks, Dudley.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.